Morning, everybody. It's Andy Kimbo Floyd and Mosey, who's also here to say hello this morning. Um, I was just thinking about this book that I've been reading on the recommendation of my friend Elise Chaffins, and I'm listening to it on audio, and it's so good. It's Stephen King's 11/22/63, and if you're not really a horror fan, I would not let that discourage you from this book. I mean, there is some violence, but it is not a horror book. It's more of a literary fiction, maybe I would call it, with some time travel, which is kind of cool. But time travel not in a sort of heavy handed, it's not really sci fi in that sense. So, but there were a couple things that I thought about in terms of writing as I've been reading it. And one is the way that King has written a character who is both flawed and likable. Jake slash George in the book is really endearing, but he's not perfect. And King has built in sort of an ominous sense. Part of that is the plot, which I won't give it away, but it has to do with this man from 2011 traveling back to the late 50s, early 60s to change some things in history. And so the main character is just likable and endearing without being, I don't know, super sweet or too perfect. So that's one thing that I really liked. The other thing I really like about the character that King has created here is that the character is smart, and King has the character really speak to some of the things that could seem too tidy in the book. So, excuse me, there are moments in history in this book that sort of align with one another. And rather than acting like that's just pure coincidence, King builds in a device for why that happens, so it doesn't seem too tidy or too neat. I really like that. And the other thing that I was thinking about this morning that I'm really liking about it, and this I think applies to writing of any sort, is that the action is consistently building, the tension is constantly ramping up, which is really essential for a good piece of fiction or nonfiction. But it's not consistent in intensity. There is an ebb and flow in it, and so it doesn't feel, I don't know, like for example, Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. I really enjoyed that book, but it felt to me like it was constantly high intensity. I was always working off a cliffhanger. I was always anxious a little bit as I read it. And I felt like in some ways that was a flaw of the book because it didn't give me any rest space. Whereas King's book really sort of ramps up and then slows down, and then ramps up and slows down. And what that does is, when it gives me a place to rest, but it also makes those moments of really intense suspense or action even more powerful. So I was just sharing that as a way, something you might think about if you're interested in reading a good book over the holidays. This is a great one. It's a great book just to teach you some things about writing fiction. At least it's teaching me some things, but also to sort of encourage you to be reading with the writer's eye all the time and think about how the things you're reading apply to what you're writing and to how you can be a better writer. So if you read the book, let me know. I'll post a link to it down in the comments here so you guys can get it if you want. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Christmas week and Hanukkah week. Happy holidays. Bye.